Welcome. In this video, I'd like to show you a couple of tricks for the use of Evernote in the organization of information that you've placed in your Evernote database. I'd like to show you how to create, for the lack of a better term, let's call it a table of contents. It's really a set of hyperlinks to other articles or other notes that you've put within your Evernote database. Let's get started. Here I'm displaying Evernote on my MacBook computer. I've created basically empty note. I've given it the title Research and Administrative Notes, but I have some other articles or other notes here. And what I'd like to do is to create hyperlinks to these other articles because they're related to either administrative work I do or social media research that I'm conducting. So I'll start here. This is where I'd like my table of contents to display, and I'll give a couple of headings just so I can stay organized. And I'll give this, format this as a medium header because for my eyes, this is an appropriate size on my screen. And I'll make sure that's also a medium header, and in between everything else will be of normal size. Now, all I have to do is to find another note that I wish to drop into this table of contents. So for example, here I've got notes that I took during a recent faculty meeting. So all I have to do is display the note that will hold my table of contents. I can now search for the administrative notes that I'd like to link into this document, but for the sake of this video, I've already organized them here on the screen. I can drag and drop that note into this new note, and what enters or what displays is a hyperlink. And if you look at the blue text, it's actually linking within my Evernote database to that note, and if I click on it, it opens that note. And then I can return to my note that I'm making be my table of contents. I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to drag and drop a few other notes so you can see how the process works. Then to clean up my table of contents, I remove any extraneous spaces, and because I like bulleted lists, I'm going to make these items bulleted. And what I now have, even though it's very brief, is a table of contents to 5 notes elsewhere in my Evernote database. So if I click on any one of these, it takes me right back to the note that was referenced by the hyperlink. So I can go to these social media notes. Now, you may recognize these as notes I took during a prior video about Evernote. And I'm back to my table of contents. Creating a table of contents in Evernote can be very useful. For example, you could have a table of contents to all of the notes related to a course that you're attending. So if you're a full-time student and you're registered for 5 courses, you could have 5 notes during the semester. Each note is a set of links to the other notes you've taken for that course. So here I'm using the term note to mean an individual item within your Evernote database. And I know this is confusing because I use the word notes to mean the written records I take when I think about or conduct research. But note has its own meaning within the Evernote program. So I hope you'll bear with me and realize that as confusing as the use of the word note can be for you, it's equally confusing for me. I always have to remember to clarify in my own mind, what do I mean by note? Am I talking about notes, as in plural items in my Evernote database? Or am I talking to myself about notes, meaning those things I write down when I'm conducting research? I recommend that you use Evernote to collect your notes. And I'm using that in its common term, those items that you write down when you're conducting research. And store those notes inside Evernote notes. Now I've used that word notes for 2 different definitions in the same sentence. I hope you find this as humorous as I do. On a serious side, Evernote can allow you to organize your notes, keep track of them, search them, and acquire them, gain access to them on any of your digital devices, of course, assuming you've installed the Evernote app on each of those devices. Now, building a table of contents is not difficult, but I do have a caution for you. It's something that you have to keep up to date. So, if looking at here at my notes about administrative and social media content, each time I enter a new note from an administrative activity, I have to remember to drag and drop a hyperlink to it into this table of contents. Otherwise, the table of contents is not complete, and it's not a resource that I can trust. The same is true for all my research notes about social media. I have to keep this table of contents up to date. But if I remember to create the hyperlink every time I add a new note, then I can always trust that my table of contents is up to date and will have reference to all of the related notes within my database. I wish you the very best of success as you use Evernote to keep track of your academic, personal, and career work. And I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Bye for now.